Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you can choose to open bat or open bowl. Pick up a telephone, give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, even West Indies cricket. We're speaking about that. Give us a call. Immediately after the program ends at 1 o'clock, we will be returning to Mindo Philip Park in Dominica. That's where West Indies is batting now. They won the toss, choose to bat, and 68 for 4. I don't know if the game going to finish the 5 days, but after about 29, 30 overs, West Indies is 68 for 4. Dominica, nature island of the Caribbean. It is said that Dominica have one river for every day of the year, about 365 rivers. It seems as though everybody in Dominica live on the river coast. So this is why climate change and other harsh climatic conditions could be so hazardous for Dominica. Dominica is also the land of Eugenia Charles. She was one of the individuals instrumental in legalizing and endorsing the American intervention, invasion, or rescue mission of Grenada. Eugenia Charles. Maurice Bishop never liked her. He used to call her mother hen. Dominica is also the land of the mountain chicken. If you want a piece of mountain chicken to eat, you could go in Dominica. But remember, like manicure and tattoo, mountain chicken is a delicacy. So we remember we'll be returning to Mindo Philip Park in Dominica to face West Indies. It's not an easy thing to deal with West Indies. No, you know. When you remember West Indies of the yesteryear, West Indies is like a ship that's sinking and nobody knows what to do. You could shed some tears. Or maybe you could use West Indies as a means to look at your own boys in your community, your own children in the village. Look at them. Ask yourself this question. Am I satisfied with the performance of the young males in my community? Am I satisfied with the productive level of the young males in my community? Am I satisfied with their behavior? And what could I do about it? Particularly if you have children, you have an opportunity to intervene in their life and make some change. There are some communities you have to go in there and redirect the energy. They have a lot of energy. They leave school, a school system now that does not encourage much socialization between villages and communities. So you're likely to have more fights, more gang-related fights. Because if Kumande and Congo Tong do not have any opportunity to socialize in the school, then you could have more frictions between them. You must be concerned. Even cricket, when you look at West Indies cricket, you could blame the selectors, you could blame umpire, you could blame managers. There doesn't seem to be a pool of cricketers outside there for West Indies to pull from. So like you're going from bad to worse. I don't know. It's tough. But I like to look at things. It's nice to sit down and wonder about things you cannot change. But I believe we could start with things we could change. And you could definitely influence and change your children, your young boys in the community. In this long holiday, I think it's about 8 or 9 or 7 weeks holiday, where the drum and the shell will be dictators. And coming from the mouth of our children will come some of the most objectionable and offensive language. What would happen when the carnival over? We must ask ourselves, what could we do to intervene, to redirect the energy of our young boys, particularly those in primary school? I don't think you could do much for those in secondary school. Most of them would end up without jobs on the job market, with more deviant behavior, conflicts. Some of them would be dehorned, and some would go in jail. You have more supplying the mental institute and the rum shop. And they will keep the police busy. But you could definitely change those in primary school. You could intervene in the life of your sons in primary schools and change them. The first thing to do is to make certain that when they exit school, they are able to be competitive on the job market. You can't leave that up to the government. The government don't care. The government is very insensitive to people in the lower income group. The government is desensitized where the elderly, the needy, and the physically challenged is concerned. Even those that walk around with a white cane, the government seems not to care. You have to prepare to take the bull by your hand and look at your 5-year and 6-year and 10-year-old children and make certain you give them a better chance. If the statistics are wrong, you don't have to believe me. Go and find out in the prison. The majority are males in the prison, or the majority are inmates that is locked up in prison now, did not have a good education. There seems to be a direct relationship in whether you go in jail and if you have a good education. The majority of people that involved in predial larceny, those the police could hold, they do not have a good education. The majority of people on the job market, the vast majority, did not have a good education. So there is a direct relationship between unemployment, getting into prison, in the mental institute, bad behavior, deviant behavior, and a good education. So you must be concerned. If your son is in secondary school, there is not much you could do. You could hope and pray. But if they are in primary school, you definitely could enter their lives and give them some direction. Let your children get involved in music. Let your children get involved in sports. Let your little children get involved in charitable work. Bring your young boys and visit the people in the homes. The Father Mulligan homes. The Cajona home. Richmond Hill home. Bring them and visit. Let them develop compassion. We have to do more. We must do more. If you want to give your boys a good chance, I know we spend a lot of money on graduation. Nothing is wrong with that. But you better spend some money to prepare your child for the job market. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Look at the quality of the cricketers in the community. There are a number of villages struggling to get 12 individuals to make up a team to play cricket. Communities that had 2 cricket teams now struggling to make a team to play cricket. The Ministry of Sports is a joke. They're not helpful. In yesteryear, people in sports was actively involved in clubs and village cricket organizing. Today, the Ministry of Sports is a joke. In yesteryear, teachers in school was actively involved in groups in the community. Today, they don't care about that. So if we continue like that, our school system would be like a factory producing individuals with deviant behavior. How good is the primary school cricket in Grenada? Ask yourself this question. Look around you, look around your community. Don't close your eyes. And ask yourself, how good is the primary school cricket? Is my child involved in primary school cricket? Why is it the schools cannot have a table tennis board and organize table tennis competition? Or give your boys opportunity to play table tennis? When last you had children going on hike from your school? All your children whining. Do we have a dance group in the school? Do we have a cultural club in the village? Ask yourself that. That's your children. If you love your children, you have to practicalize love. That's why the Bible says if you cannot love the neighbor next to you, how you could love God? Lying. Can't love the neighbor. Going to church every day. Whole night, you hear bacchanal in the neighbor house. The bawling children crying. You well dressed up to go to church. You don't even know the neighbor name. So God says you have to practicalize love. Don't just talk about love, show your love. And one of the ways we could practice love is to reach out to the communities and help the groups in the community that is targeting the younger folks. The cricket club, hike, cultural club, dance group, even karate. You have villages that like to fight. Go in there and help to find groups, karate groups, boxing club. Because the boys want to fight anyway. Train them to fight, they wouldn't fight. See fellas want to fight, pants falling down, shoe roll lace, they can't run, they must cut out a hand. As soon as they end up in some problem and they try to run, pants falling down. They either cut out a hand or somebody might cut a bamsi. But we have to change and we could make a difference. But I always believe you start with your home, start with your own sons. 3, 4 fathers or women in the community. If your children is interested in football, talk to your man. 2, 3 of them come together and go in the park with your 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old and do something. Keep them occupied during this holiday. Help them. Sometimes one success story could be infectious and spread. Just as those calypsos, those soccas, with the vulgarity spreading. It's quite true, good things take a little longer to spread. But you could start in the community and help your children. And you could pick up the telephone and give us a call. You know, we speak about anything. The number to call is 4420175. Tomorrow about 6, 7, 8 in Moya, right in front Trippy's Minimat, RealFM will start back its program, Anything Goes. You could come there. You may not want to call me now, but you could come there and you could say what you want to say. You could sing if you want to sing. You could ask questions. You could make comments. It's a program that I've been in existence for quite a while. Move around most of the villages in the parish, St. Patrick, St. Andrews, St. David, St. George's, St. Max, Guav. And now it's starting back again right in Moya. Opposite Trippies Minimat, you have Blogger Haloba, and you have a number of bars in Moya near the double bridge. So you could join us tomorrow for anything goes. During that time, you may well think about some suggestions that you have, that you want to make, to help to encourage parents to pay more attention to the young children. We cannot turn to England and America and the Chinese or the Japanese. We have to believe that we could solve our problems. We have to believe that. And we have to prepare to discuss the issue to address the challenges that we have. Sometimes you have governments come in and try to arrest the situation and come up with ideas with some measure of success. I've always hailed the Imani program as one of the best programs instituted in Grenada in the last 8 decades to help people who need a second chance to be more competitive on the job market. But even with the Imani program, maybe 75% of the participants were women. Even the Imani program was not as attractive to the males as the authors of it wanted. I think they recognize that because I believe they had another program targeting boys alone. But we must be concerned for our males. Every now and then you have an incident where one of them lose an arm, or you find some major laceration on their body that have serious consequences for their health and productivity. We ought to find ways to significantly reduce this incident. One have to, after you look at this government, there is not much hope. There is not much hope that the government have any program at all, to address this deviant behavior and antisocial practices and culture by our young people. The government seems to be stranded. Historically, I have not known them to come up with any ideas to address that. And after 1 year in office, it doesn't seem that the government is even thinking about addressing issues of high unemployment, antisocial behavior, and deviant attitude from our young people. It doesn't seem they're even thinking about that. It saddens my heart, but that's the reality. So it leaves the parents to try to salvage from the youths and definitely intervene to change the energy direction of our young people. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
How do you do?
Great, man. Just good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I really appreciating your program. I'm just trying to find out how and what are we doing to address the crime situation in the country, like the rising crime. What are we doing? I'm very concerned about that.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm very concerned about that.
At this stage, I don't think the government doing anything. At this
The
stage,
Minister of National Security, the Commissioner of Police, why they're so silent?
well, I believe the government is silenced because that is not part of the forte, is not part of the policy of this government. This government seems to be distracted. Remember, the Prime Minister said in the first 100 days of the Prime Minister's biggest challenge was taking pictures. A number of people unemployed. Workers in Karakou crying out victimization. The women in Paul's crying out victimization. The caregivers panicking. Road wardens and other wardens, tears in their eyes. The Prime Minister of Grenada's biggest challenge was taking out pictures. He was so photogenic that he was overwhelmed with the amount of people that want his face near them. Both man and woman want to take out picture with the Prime Minister. And that was his greatest challenge. 1 year has passed, and the Prime Minister's greatest challenge still seems to be taking out pictures. He seems to be thrilled and fascinated with playing with things around male necks. It's a unique situation in Grenada. And I ask the question on many occasions, who sent the Prime Minister? Because I don't believe he is there to improve the interests of the ordinary man. Most politicians enter politics, and the excuse they gave to come into politics was to make people's life better, particularly the ordinary man. This Prime Minister was sold initially as a man with deep pockets and contacts. But after 100 days, the Prime Minister's biggest challenge was taking pictures. He was so overwhelmed with the amount of people that want to take pictures. And 1 year has passed. The Prime Minister seems to be fascinated with that which is around a man's neck. Difficult to understand. Even when he was confronted about workers who lost their job, he wasn't impressed. He said they can simply go to court to get redress. So the individual who is leading us seems to be desensitized, where some of the challenge of the lower income group, the physically challenged, disadvantaged children. On radio, I was appealing to Comrade Dennis Cornwall, suggesting some people that he could see. Because sometimes when you speak, another moral authority in Grenada says it's noise you're making. Don't bother with the men on RealFM. They're making noise. So I had to identify individuals. Some of them come to me, some of them I don't want to call a name because I still believe they're in position where they could be victimized. But I still call on some of them to visit these people and see if justice has been done to them. We had the sister with the white cane. The NDC in 2008, 2013 dipped their hand in her cookie jar. She went to the ex-Prime Minister, Tillman Thomas, and lay her burden on his shoulder. And he helped her. And she showed him gratitude. He was baffled at the gratitude and appreciation she showed him. But now again, NDC dipped their hand in the cookie jar again. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good evening, sir. Good
Yes,
afternoon.
my brother, welcome.
The hierarchy of the police had a press briefing recently. And Mr. Vanny Cowing had said there is a decrease in crime. Could you elaborate on that, please?
He said there was a decrease in crime
The man said that.
of 2%.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes,
I heard he said that.
well, they have these statistics, and there are sometimes there is a decrease, but you cannot feel it on the ground. Because 2%
Really?
might be very negligible. And he spoke about the first 4 months of the year.
Thank you.
And now he's speaking that there is a decrease. So maybe he's not comparing 4 months with 4 months. But a 2% decrease in crime might be considered negligible. And the ground,
Yeah, but
you
we
will
see
not
now-
feel it on the ground.
Right, but we've seen an upsurge in crime.
Yeah. And one or two, the government have been presenting information that is not, most times is not true. And since the government is not taking questions easily from the press, except those they give the questions to ask, it is difficult to verify the statistics they give.
Okay, thank you, sir.
It's very difficult. Remember, the Prime Minister said, based upon the policy of NDC, information is based upon need-to-know basis. So even when they give information, you cannot verify whether it is true. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, I'm listening to your program.
Yes, caller. You got to,
Yeah.
yes, go ahead, caller.
I'm listening the program about seed and all them things. Why can't the government? What Grenada need is not who should get seed and who shouldn't get seed or whatever. That's charity money. Grenada need a national social service across the board. If you have a national social service, then you don't have that problem. Secondly, crime in Grenada fluctuates. It doesn't matter which government in power. Crime in Grenada is not like in the other Caribbean islands. Crime in Grenada is a guy get mad and he stab a man. Grenada don't have crime Grenada don't big on crime like hold up and shooting. It's just ignorance among people. But I think Grenada need a national social service, like how they do in other countries. That's all I have to say.
Yes, my brother, good to hear your voice.
No, I listen to you all the time. I listen to you, I listen to everybody. Everybody. The only little thing I criticize you with is history. But I listen to you. I know you from a long time.
Because I said I don't wasting time with teaching history in school.
No, history is important because every time you do your life is history.
Yeah.
But anyway, I listen to you, and when I listen to you, I like to see more rural Grenadians get involved. Because Grenada, we have NNP, we have NDC, but our biggest problem in Grenada is not party politics. We have to get rid of a colonial class in the south of the island. That is my big business problem in Grenada. Now I just run a blog in Grenada. And I write. I have a blog where I write a lot of things. I write about job. I write everything. But there is an elitist class in Grenada, where is a colonial class fighting us, rural Grenadians, whether you NNP or you NDC. My big problem in Grenada is to get rid of an elitist class that comes from Grenada, and the roots is in the PRG, mixed up with colonialism. I want to see a Grenada when a countryman and a tongue man go be equal. You understand? So
yes.
I just listen to you. I listen to everybody. Now, I got a mail this morning from a guy named Michael Julian. I write about Jab and the origins of where Jab come out. I put clips. And I have that article out a lot of years. People use it for reference. But somebody from the south of Grenada, and the man is not a black man like me, but he's a Grenadian. He telling me, Jab, I didn't go in depth. I have to talk about the Yoruba culture. But what he doesn't know is that the biggest group of Africans are Yorubas. The Timni people who come to Karikou every year and do the thing with the Karikou people in the villages, the Timni from Sierra Leone, they are Yorubas too. The Edo people in Nigeria are Yorubas. There is Yoruba in the Delta region where the oil is. There are Yorubas in Benin, the country what they call the Voodoo country, and even in Cameroon, because before the French take Cameroon and the British take what they call Nigeria, there were no borders. You understand? So people now, because Jab become global, all the academias go on to write on it. Why they want is the rural people. This is my problem in Grenada. I want to see more rural people in the media. I was listening to Colin Dow on GBN talking about mass. He and Bobby Steele. Why can't we have a shot me and a Jab on GBN talking about culture? Grenadian culture is not an academic discourse to write and put in library books alone. When you come to Lafayette, you see Jab. You go to Tivoli, you go to Paul's, you go to Montjuic, Munich. These are the people. It's time we take our space in society. I listen to you, I listen KB, I listen Master Carl, I listen Kem Jones. Once it's rural, I listen. Because it's time for us to take over Grenada and get rid of one group of people in the south dominating the country. NNP and EC, I listen to everybody. Anyway,
nice.
to my old,
yes, thank you, brother.
Schoolmate, I continue to listen.
Yes, thank you, brother. You know, a number of times you realize that the people in the south are from rural Grenada. Some of them went down there and reach in the south and they don't come back. But when you start interacting with them, some of them 30, 40 years did not return back to the south, to the north, or to the east. Most of them are from rural Grenada. So I tend to encourage people to know your family history, interact with your family. Because some of the people in the south, playing them is authentic tongue people, are really from the Victoria and St. Mark's and Gov and St. Andrews, etc. And I think we could improve our people much better if we tell them our history, if they know our history, the verbal history, pass it on. And we could make the changes. But we have to be proud of ourselves. And we have to prepare to discuss issues ourselves. We have to prepare to discuss our financial issues. We have to prepare to take risk. You have 8, 9, 10 members of a family. Sometimes all of them have cars. Sometimes all of them have a minimum amount of $10,000 in the bank that they have not touched for 5 years. If you have a minimum of X dollars in the bank, or 2,000 or 10,000, that you have not touched for 5 or 10 years, all things being equal, you may not have to touch it for the next 5 or 10 years. So why not pool resources together and invest? If 10 members of a family put $10,000 together, that's $100,000. That's a powerful sum you can invest in. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good day.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, it's about 3 weeks ago, or the Minister of Agriculture mentioned about family labor support, and they did not different from now, and you want to produce your workers, and they go pay workers or whatever. And since from that, I don't hear nothing again. I don't see nothing going on in my area. I don't see nobody doing anything in land to say. So I don't know if that's just stunt they give it again as usual.
By the time you go and ask how the program, they'll tell you done, you know.
Because I already say that I'm I don't see no around my area. I don't see nobody doing it.
These individuals, I think they're bad-minded, you know. They announce this program. When you go in the agriculture office and ask for paper, they tell you the farming tongue. And by the time you inquire, they tell you money done the program.
You take care, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah. That's why I believe sometimes, why sit down and plan lies? It is not necessary. In this day and age, we're going to find the lies. If you have $2 million for a program, say it's only $2 million we have. And you determine which department is going to get a benefit. It doesn't matter if you say if a man have 5 acres of land and he's a full-time farmer, we would not help him with labor. Because if you have 5 acres of land and you're a full-time farmer, it's 8 tasks in an acre of land. So you may not need money to help you clear the land. This man may just need drainage. And he may need 300 feet of drain. The government may need to subsidize plants for him. But we have to think. And because the government is doing that to whoop, to give impression, these programs are not effective. If you go back and watch the NDC track record, go back. They have the worst track record in Grenada where agriculture is concerned. The worst track record where agriculture is concerned. More often than not is a lot of talk, no substance. You hear how big they talk about MNIB? What going on? You heard that they spoke about Grand Bay Estate? Identifying the estate for weed. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar.
Afternoon. Jeff, I understand some information there for tomorrow evening for a meeting at the Hartfield Secondary School.
Then do it.
Yeah, and I would like Kit Mitchell will be having a community meeting at the Hartfield Secondary School for 6 p.m. in the evening.
I don't hear the school name.
Hartfield Secondary School.
Happy Hill Secondary School.
Yeah, so we're asking the people in the community to come out and listen to what the parliamentary rep has to say concerning the development party and what is going on in the country. So
Yeah.
we have a blessing.
When that meeting taking place?
Tomorrow evening at 6 p.m.
Tomorrow evening at 6 p.m.
July the 13th, which is Thursday.
Okay. Yes, scholar, thank you. So you see, if we want to solve the problems in our country, the authorities have to be truthful, irrespective of what the story is. Be frank with your people. Have confidence in your people and tell them the truth. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Pierre,
Yes, my brother, welcome.
good evening, my brother. Good evening.
Aye?
Pierre, the Prime Minister having a meeting. I hope you telling people about what's going on in the community where they're building the road and opening the jail and things like that. Anyhow, Mr. Pierre, what I want the Prime Minister to do to solve this crime problem in this country, I want to open up the road, pass the building permit so that they could start hanging in this country. Because you can't have people killing people and they have no redress. You can't flag them, you can't them not, now they have to take them to jail. The most construction, Christ, the whole good book say, if you stop a man on the right side, turn the left side to stop him, and stop him back. I for an eye, two for a two.
Which book you read that in? Come on. Which
I
book you read that in?
I can't remember the book name, but
Not the Bible.
the Bible says,
Don't come on wrong quoting.
I found eye and a tooth for a tooth.
No. Christ disagree with that. Otherwise, if we're doing eye for eye and tooth for tooth, you go on one among the people in Grenada without teeth and can walk with the blind.
What I mean is, if you kill a man, you should be dead.
No, Colonel. No.
So in other words, you encouraging people to kill people?
No, we don't encourage capital punishment in this country.
So you encouraging people to kill people? So if a man knows if he kill you, nothing happens to him. You ain't thinking twice about killing you. If a man knows if he thief, you ain't go flag him. If even out there, he's not going to jail and come out. So they talk about release the flagging, stop the flagging. I tell them, asking the Prime Minister to ask the judge to identify the flagging in this country.
Kit Mitchell is not the Prime Minister, he's the opposition leader.
I tell you, the Prime
You like
Minister,
him?
the Prime, who Kit Mitchell?
Yeah.
Kit Mitchell is the biggest hypocrite in this country. Kit Mitchell going about and tell me his followers how to attack the new group of people. Encouraging the enemy people to attack the new group of people. Can you imagine that? He is the mama encouraging crime in this country. You tell your people to attack the new group of people in this country, and you call that there is wickedness on the behalf of this man. So I asking on Colonel Mitchell to identify the flagging for people who, when you go and thief, they should flag you. If you stab somebody and then dead, they should flag you. If you kill a man, they should kill you back. That's going on all over the world. You kill a man.
That is not true. That's not good. Most countries in the world are moving away from capital
America
punishment.
hanging people. Just last time they hang people. So why you just kill people, encouraging people to kill people. When they kill people, is just there and nothing happening to them. You kill, you'll be killed. You kill a man, the state kill you.
What happens if they accuse you? What happens if they accuse you of killing and they found you guilty?
If they accuse you,
If they accuse you of killing somebody
if they accuse me of something different,
and they find you guilty.
if they find me guilty, I kill the man. What have to do? Take me there because I shouldn't kill the man.
Let's suppose you did not do it, but they find you guilty.
Well, if you don't do it, but you don't worry about
And
it.
they find you guilty.
You don't do it and they find you guilty.
Let's suppose they say you kill your wife.
And I didn't kill her.
You didn't kill her, but she dead, but you say you not kill her.
Well, listen to me.
And let's say they find you guilty.
Once I know I didn't kill her, my conscience is clear. They could do any other one. I don't care about them. I didn't do it.
You that bad. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, you have to discourage capital punishment. I do not believe in capital punishment at all. And a number of the crime situation in Grenada is a question of frustration, and we are not managing conflict properly. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, caller, welcome.
just a few minutes ago, you had a caller who spoke about that elitist class of people in Grenada.
Yeah.
And I like part of what he said, talking about getting rid of them. You don't get rid of them because we live in a capitalist system. And when you live in a capitalist system, you need wealthy people to help create employment. Now, another thing is this. I want that caller to know that Lansapin was a wooded area. Nobody was living there. The first person who went to live in Lansapin went there to hide. It's a man from St. Patrick's, from Riverside, St. Patrick's, named John Watts, who was a dentist. He doesn't know that. Now, he has to understand this. When you have what we call a representative government, you have to know who is that government representing. Is it that elitist class or is it the working class? So when he talks about listening to all the rural people and all this kind of thing like that, at the end of the day is the politics of it. The government you put in power, who are they representing? Which class of people in Grenada they are representing? And I think that the solution to the problem is that Grenadians must get themselves educated politically, and therefore they will take the right decision when the time comes. Thank you.
Yes, scholar. The policy of the government, who they representing, whose interests they seek. Some government have policy that seems to be inclusive and encompass all the people of the country. Particularly when you have a small country like Grenada with 110,000 people. All is important. But remember, the past opposition leader, Tobias, one of his biggest concern about NDC, they were not inclusive. Yes, caller, welcome.
I just want to correct the caller. I was not talking about people with money. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was talking about there is a elitist class in Grenada, or is a colonial class now. Now the British built schools in town first, before high school in town originally, and then high school spread to the outer parish. But there's a mentality in Grenada that if you're doing school in PBC or GBSS or Anglican Hines, St. George, or convent in St. George, you're stupid. This manifests in Grenada. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the rich people in Grenada. My problem is I want to see more rural Grenadian, whether the NNP or NDC, get more active in the life of Grenada. That's what I'm saying. I'm not checking about who have money and who don't have money. I'm just making a correction. Okay?
Yes, my brother.
Okay.
And RealFM has done a remarkable job in Grenada. That radio station have been the most successful radio station outside St. George's. And every day they try to engage programs to involve people to express themselves. And I think with a fair measure of success. They have encouraged both opposition and government side to use the medium to express views and opinion. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Relative to what a caller is talking about, the kind of school you go to and so on. That has expired in Grenada quite a while now. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm 67 years old. And I would not be surprised if he's elder than me, because I grew up in a period of time when that was a little bit in the air. And that started going off just around my time in school. So he might be a lot older than me. And so he comes to know it that way, thinking that still that's the established perception in Grenada. That's not true nowadays. That doesn't exist. There might be those who, from long ago, who thought so, and they might have achieved more than others, and they are the ones who are the so-called elite in the place. And they might still appear to be dominant. So he might be still having that perception. But that is not true in Grenada, which school you go to nowadays. That is not exactly so for a long time now. And I'm 67 years old. Mr. Pierre, that gentleman who calls and talk about eye for eye and tooth for tooth, let me tell you this. I have a problem with corporal punishment, or what you call corporal punishment. But you listen to this guy, trying to make himself sound intelligent. And the thing is really irritating the way he puts things, or at least doesn't put things right. Because he's so mixing up, and that's the kind of confusion he has about understanding Kit Mitchell relative to the others. He's mixing up things so much that he's confused and somehow trying to get across that to the public. I'm going to something else. I heard a program this morning that is to the point on GBN, where the one that you call, I think they call him Toes, that's the minister for
agriculture, planning, tourism.
Tourism, yeah. Well, he was dealing with the tourism issue this morning, in his capacity as the tourism minister. And a man called the program who sounds so very much like a supporter of the party. That because today was the government side of things, yesterday was the NNP, and so on. That's how they operate on GBN. And I called and gave him kudos for the way he put things this morning, but was very critical of Dennis Cornwall on TV last night. and Dennis is like, why? So when I'm beating up on him, you're beating up on me too, in a sense of the word. But, give jacket. The guy was able to say that the Minister of Finance came on the TV, and he had no clue as to what he was talking about. I didn't hear the program, but the man was very critical, and you could see he was embarrassed listening to Mr. Cornwall on the TV. And that's the kind of a thing, the preparedness of the
I did not hear the program, sir. Can't come.
I didn't hear it, but what it seems the guy seems to be indicating is that that whole issue of preparedness of the ministers to give good stewardship or to give good account, which indicates to people that we should have confidence in them and that they know what they're talking about and they know what they're doing. Watch me. A few months ago, well enough, a lady I met, I don't know the lady, so we started talking about the issues that is going on in the country. I know what the lady said to me, that these guys and them, they're fumbling, they don't know what they're doing.
Does that surprise you?
About them.
Does that surprise you?
Well, technically, yes, because you're talking about guys who are supposed to be considered intelligent. Now, the political strategy is backfiring on them, and that's what the problem is. So, all the lies and all the false pretense and promise they gave during the election, being unable to fulfill it because they didn't have a clue as to what they're talking about most of the time, is backfiring on them. So here you have, you might say square peg, but the Prime Minister was a square peg in the Ministry of Finance. Now, Dennis Cornwall is supposed to be a qualified economics to the highest level. But in his ability to articulate, maybe that's where his problem is. But I don't think I think he should know what he's talking about when it comes to economics.
But it's the guy's opinion.
If he proved last night, I didn't hear it, but if he proved last night to that gentleman who listened carefully, and he was embarrassed, sounding like a supporter of the government, and he was embarrassed about how Dennis Cornwall presented himself last night, I could understand why he would be talking to us.
Yeah.
Take care, sir.
Yes, thank you, Colin. So we have immediately when this program finish on target, the Real FM will be going back to Mindo Phillip Park in Dominica. And I want to applaud Real FM for trying to bring cricket. If we're going to revive cricket in Grenada, and particularly because we're targeting our young men, energy that seems need to be redirected, we need to push cricket in school. The government have to play a greater part, the Ministry of Sport, in trying to strengthen cricket clubs and organization in Grenada. We must push more cricket in schools, organize competition. Every school should have a table tennis board. If you want to curb violence, if you want to redirect youthful energy, bring table tennis board in school. Introduce music in school. Start with whatever instrument you have. Yes, scholar, welcome. And that will be our last scholar.
I listened to that guy today, to the point. And he's saying that he's going to get to India, and then Cornwall, they asked him a question and he didn't have the figure to say. Mr. Pierre, I listened to watch TV, and I don't hear nothing about. Only the man I saying that. I don't hear Mr. Kanwa say it. I don't hear nobody else say it. But the man and this guy today. If the man don't have the direct figure, what you want to do? If it's that what he says, you don't have it in your head at the moment. How you expect the man to say about it? Because I know Mr. Kanwa is a competent economist. If he don't have the figure, he just don't have it. So you don't want to lie. And what he say about is that the ghetto, he say you don't like people saying he a ghetto in Grenada. He a ghetto in Grenada because all them Chinese houses and them the people making them ghetto. So
Them Chinese house?
Them Chinese house, they set up ghetto boys are there.
So them Chinese house is ghetto?
The people make it ghetto.
Right.
When they're drinking and smoking and doing all kind of stupidness there.
You don't too like this drinking and smoking thing?
When I was young.
When you was young?
Yeah, no, I was an old man. I don't think I was smoking.
But not to say fellas who drinking and smoking the bad people. You know?
I ain't say they're bad, but I say that is the reflection of ghetto behavior.
Ghetto life?
That
No,
is
man.
ghetto behavior.
No, man. I like the rum shop like what, you know?
Slump,
You doesn't hear me talk about the rum shop regular?
a slump is a different thing to a ghetto.
I like the rum
is
shop
where people-
regular.
where people, a ghetto is where people smoking weed and you have a violence there. And
A ghetto is when they smoking weed.
a place where people smoke weed and get on and so on.
Them Rasta will get vexed with you, know?
You ready to get vexed with me?
All right.
Because they am encouraging.
Okay, we're running out of time, caller. Thank you very much. We're running out of time. Remember, tomorrow evening by 7 o'clock, we have Real FM right in Moya in front Trippy's Minimat. Anything goes. And you have an opportunity to punch.